What's up, yins, guys? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have one of my personal favorite vehicles, the 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit Edition. This thing's loaded with massaging seats, unbelievable interior appointments. Let's go for a ride. So my first impressions of the Grand Cherokee L. So the Summit Edition is great because it's full of goodies. It's full of Apple CarPlay, massaging leather seats, heated steering wheel, big sunroof, all the cool stuff, right? All the gadgets. But it's in the Macintosh sound system, which I'll go over later in the video. But the Grand Cherokee L is a vehicle that I've been waiting for, not knowing it, because Grand Cherokees are 5-passenger. I have a lot of kids, and folks that have a lot of kids or a lot of people to transport need that 6-7 passenger vehicle. So now the Jeep makes their Grand Cherokee with a long wheelbase. That's what the L stands for, and you can add those extra seats in the back. Makes this thing. So I've always loved the Grand Cherokee, as you saw in my previous video on the other Grand Cherokee, but this one is a little bit more special just because it's a little bit longer, it has a little bit more capacity, and it looks the same as the other ones, which I think the new body style is top notch. The craftsmanship of everything that's in this thing, from the way that the front's sculpted to the way the interior flows, it's just refined, it's American made, it's wonderful. That's my first impression. Let's get to the actual review. All right, guys, we're standing outside with the Grand Cherokee L, and a couple of things you're going to notice right off the bat are these. The front grille has a different shape to it. It kind of goes up and out and then up and over. And you got these daytime running lights up front that are pretty dope. LED fog lights below. Gigantic wheels. They are 21-inch rims on the Summit Edition, and I love this flag. Always flying forward, right? That's how they put it. So this one comes in the white paint trim with this black top and the black trim there. So it looks like this whole area is separate from the bottom half of the vehicle, and I like the way that looks. It's like a two-tone tuxedo kind of look. And then you have like a chrome trim across the top, and then this trim line here stays separate, so you have that nice pillar in the back. Crisp lines, very refined. It's kind of like a suit and tie vehicle, man. You can take it anywhere. You can take it to a show, you can take it to the baseball game, to the hockey game, you can off-road with it. It's just an all-around good-looking vehicle. And it continues back here, straight back end. The LED lights wrap around the back, so you can see them from both sides. And you have a true dual exhaust pipe back here. The tow hitch and everything is underneath this section down there. And then you have two sets of cameras. So you have your normal backup camera, which is right there. And then you have your rear view camera, which is up here, which you have to sometimes wipe off so you can see it a little bit better. But that, I will show you where that is on the inside when we get in there. But just an overall appealing, to me, appealing vehicle with good lines, good shape, nice wheels, comfortable. It just looks classy, and the Summit trim definitely brings that all to the front. Let's jump inside, take a look. All right, guys, inside the Jeep, we're gonna turn it on so you can see kind of what happens on the startup. And I'm trying to get an angle where you guys can see all the different gauges and what happens in here. So first off, look at this interior. Just look at all of this. Look at how this is all engineered, all refined. It's just an unbelievably well-crafted, gorgeous interior. The Summit on the seats, the leather trim everywhere, the way that the seats are stitched, this black piano shiny console. I don't know if it's gonna be great long-term with kids and whatnot, but the rotary shifter, your different selections for your off-road and your suspension settings, your suspension height settings, your hill descent control, your full wheel low, everything is just well laid out, clean, classy. Down here is your wireless charging area with some plug-ins as well, and a cigarette lighter adapter. Then you have your dedicated HVAC controls, all the different settings, heated steering wheel. All of this stuff can also be used up top here. When you hit the comfort, it'll pop up the screen for all of that. And that also, massaging seats. Yes, massaging seats in the Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. Both sides, and you can set the different type of, you know, whatever one you want for that moment while you're driving. I usually go with the lower back, the high intensity, and just let it ride while you're going. And it's really nice. Up top here, automatic start and stop, you can turn that off. Your lane departure warning, you can turn that off. Your parking and your parking parallel parking assist are all up there with the traction control and your hazard lights. I just love how this wood grain, I mean, tucks up underneath in there. It comes out on this side and just flows around the vehicle, and it has such a craftsman feel to it. I mean, it's just unreal. It just looks great. Up there, the Macintosh sound system, and down here there's a light on it. That sound system is crazy good, crazy loud, crazy clear. There's no distortion. You have crafted paddle shifters. Look at the steering wheel. Look at this steering wheel. Look how crafted this is. The wood grain. Top-notch interior, clean steering wheel, all your different cruise control settings, all your different menu items that show up there. And then see this little logo right here? That's night vision, if you can believe it or not. Night vision in the Jeep. And then your lane keep and your lane assist and your active management when you're on the highway. But this is your night vision on the screen. And I will pull up a video of that at the nighttime and add it to this review. But this thing is just loaded full of goodies. Everything works pretty well. The screen sometimes is slow. Like, see how it's loading up the map? But once the map's loaded, it's not horrible. So it's pretty smooth, pretty seamless how it works. It's pretty self-explanatory as well. And once your phone's hooked up to it, you can kind of jump back and forth between the different settings. Now here, these are all your apps. So you can go through here and decide off-road controls, settings, and then down here you can swipe through the different settings there. But that's your vehicle settings. And then you have your apps over here, which bring up a whole nother screen of different apps that you can put on the vehicle that kind of connect to your phone. Then your media, which is all your different media devices, if you have things plugged in, if you have Bluetooth hooked up, your home screen, all pretty cool stuff. But let's go look in the back and see what the back seats look like. All right, jumping in the back. And again, you'll find really good, really nice looking seats, or doors, panels. You have the additional screen if you want that. Captain's chairs. And I'm saying this is probably going to be a good thing for a lot of people with captain's chairs, so the kids aren't so close together. I get it. I mean, I understand that. Here's my problem with this though, outside of it being captain's chairs. When my 5-year-old sits here and tries to get that seatbelt on, it's not static and it falls down. So you have to literally hold it up, plug it in. She can't hardly do that sometimes with her booster, the way it sits like that. So someone has to help her put that seatbelt on, and it just adds time to getting into the car. Not good or bad, it's just that's what the seatbelt is. Back there is a lot of room with the seats down. A whole lot of room with the seats down. Charging ports on the sides. And then look at the little detail in the window. The little Jeeps. There's the short wheelbase and the long wheelbase. Pretty cool. Let's go in the back and check that out. Back here, reach underneath, there's a button. So that's what it looks like with the seats down. Now, if I were to bring up a seat, 3rd row right, bring that seat up. Slowly, but it comes up. Lift up the headrest. That's the amount of storage space behind the 3rd row, which is not bad. It's actually pretty big. You can stack many things back here with the seats up. And the seat leg room isn't terrible either. Kids have no problem sitting back here, and I could probably sit back there as an adult myself. Back here you got the system, and there's your button. Chrysler and Jeep and all them, always, they never have the buttons up here. Buttons are always on the side. So you have the button to shut the door over here, and then you have the buttons to lower the seats and your charging port over here. And these little tabs here, these are to hold your seat belts so they don't go flopping around while the seats are down. If anyone's wondering what those are always for, that's what they're for. So you got vents up there too, which is kind of cool in the pillar. But look at that interior. It's got suede up top. It just looks nice. Let's go for a ride. But before we go on the ride, let's take care of some housekeeping, right? Monroney stuff. Got to talk about the price. Got to talk about what's on this thing. This is the Summit Reserve 4x4. This is the top of the line 4x4. And it's got the 3.6 liter V6 engine, 8-speed automatic transmission. They call this bright white clear coat exterior paint. Really creative on that one. I thought it'd be like glacier white or snow cap white or something like that, but it's just bright white. The optional equipment. So the MSRP base price for this is $59,660. The optional equipment is the Reserve Group, Summit Reserve Group. Gives you the different wheels, different tires, different leather seats, the high performance sound system, which is awesome in this thing. I mean, awesome. Noise cancellation system, 950 watt system. No wonder it sounds so good. I mean, I used to have an upgraded sound system in my vehicles growing up, and this thing sounds just like that, and it's awesome. Advanced ProTech Group, which is the heads-up display, night vision with pedestrian and animal detection. The display I will show you shortly is on the screen here. When you flip it up, it shows you what's behind you. In fact, let me just do that right now. Flip it up. That's how that works. Pretty cool. I like that. I like that option. And then your wireless charging and your manual second row brings the total price of this vehicle as it sits to $66,695. They say they average around 21 miles per gallon. I am averaging 16.9. That's my average on this vehicle. That's even less than the city mileage that they have rated on here. Now, granted, I've driven this car, I've driven the Jeep to and from my area a couple times on the highway, a few times, but 16.9 is not great for the V6. So take that for what you will. let's get on the road and talk about the pros and cons. Doing the pros on this video and on this segment. And some of the pros are like what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to do a 3-point turn, right? And instead of having the shifter up here or having a regular shifter, I have this nice rotary style, and it just makes things, I like the way it cleans up the interior. I like the way it works. Its functionality is spot on, and it's the way it really should be, in my opinion. So pro, that's not one of my pro number one or whatever, but the overall build quality, appearance of this vehicle, and its comfort is number one on my pro list. I love how this thing drives. I love how it feels like there's some weight behind it. Some people don't, like I said before. And I love the way it's just finished off, handsomely done, and comfortable. I mean, it goes over bumps like a dream. It floats along, especially on the highway with long highway trips. It has just a feeling of comfort and of ease. It handles bends really well, even at speed. And there's not a whole lot I can say bad about that, per se. The other pro that I have on this, besides the interior, is just how everything fits together. The fit and finish of everything, and some of the gadgets that are in this thing, like the CarPlay and the stereo system, and how that stuff all adds to the driving experience is a big selling point to me. I feel like when you're looking for a luxury SUV, especially one with a little bit more passenger space like this one has, you want something that has all the different options and they all blend together really well to make a smooth design. And this one definitely does that. All right, guys, so there are pros and cons, right, to any vehicle. This one I have a hard time finding cons on, downsides, because I'm already predisposed to liking it because of the past and what I've always thought about these vehicles. But those captain's chairs for my use need to go away. I need a bench across the back so I can seat kids, and then I need that third row as well. So having those captain's chairs in the back don't really do me any good. That's a con. Another con is Jeep has a heavy feel to it. Now, some people like that, some people don't. Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it could be a bad thing. And my fiance said she didn't like how heavy it felt. And there's some vibrations, especially at low speeds, when you're turning the wheel, you're trying to back into a parking spot, you're trying to back into or turn around corners real tight, do a 3-point turn or something like that. There's a little bit of vibration in the steering wheel and in the car itself, in the Jeep itself. So it's an odd kind of a mechanical feeling. And the last thing is, some people are not going to like the V6 engine in this. I don't find it to be too bad. I actually kind of like how it sounds when you really get on the throttle and push it. But those are the cons that I've come up with so far. Another pro is the motor. Now, some people are not going to like the way it shifts. It's got an 8-speed, so it's always trying to find that higher gear to get that mileage. But overall, it has a nice, throaty V6 Chrysler sound to it. It shifts well. I haven't really found any spots, especially in my low speed tests, where I take it to a steep hill and I try to get it all the way down to first gear. Excuse me. Try to get it all the way down to first gear and let it creep up into the next gears. It handles that well. It doesn't do anything wrong there. And then getting onto the highway, which I will show you shortly, and get on the highway with the road noise. There is no road noise. We got laminated glass all the way around the vehicle, and it jumps. You jump on the throttle and it gets on the highway and it gets going, and it sounds good when it's doing it. So those are all my pros. One little detail I wanted to add, that mirror that I showed you earlier that you can switch back and forth between the real mirror and the screen, like the monitor, I guess you could call it, rear view monitor. It's hard to get used to if you haven't done that before. And I only say that because when I have a lot of loaner cars, one after the other, and a lot of them have that option, it's easier for me to kind of go between my car and these cars with that monitor, because I'm kind of used to it. But if you jump into a vehicle and it's on, you're looking at the monitor, and then when the monitor's off, you're looking into the mirror, looking to what's behind you. It's think of it that way. It's like a 3D look in the normal mirror, and then it's a 2D look with the monitor. Like the monitor, you don't have to squint or look through the mirror. You just have to look at it. And you'll understand that more when you actually see one in person and you look through it while you're driving. It's when you're driving and you're driving forward down the road and you look up at the mirror to see if there's a car behind you, if you're gonna make a turn or something, and you end up getting cross-eyed for a hot second, because you're like, wait, there's a monitor there, not the mirror, if that makes any sense. But that being said, having that monitor up there is not a bad thing. It's kind of nice, especially when you have the trunk full of hockey equipment or baseball equipment or groceries or whatever, Christmas gifts, and you're stacking everything up to the roof, and you have the third row up and you have people back there and you can't see out the back window. That's where that comes in. And it's also good for like a trailer. You can keep an eye on the trailer. You can see what's in the trailer because of the way that camera sits. You can actually move it around a tiny little bit and see different angles. But that's what I would use that camera. So for my last comment before I get on the highway and wrap this up, it's not necessarily a pro or con. It's more of a, just like a final word. The Jeep Grand Cherokee L kind of brings everything together. I don't need a vehicle that has all of the options that this one has. This one's the Summit Reserve. It's got every bell and whistle that Jeep's gonna offer into their Grand Cherokees. I don't necessarily need all that stuff. I mean, some people say they will, that's fine. I don't need all that stuff. There's too much stuff almost to a point. And some people might, you know, when you have so much gingerbread, it might bite you later on. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is this vehicle and this layout is spectacular. It's got great lines, great appeal on the outside. The interior is super well done, clean fit and finish, crafted really well. And then you got this V6 engine, and when you step on it, getting on the highway, listen to that. It sounds good, and it gets going, puts you in your seat a little bit, and it screams. It sounds healthy, and you're up to highway speed just like that. And not once you're at highway speed, like we're at highway speed right now, it is so smooth. It is so quiet. It takes the bumps with like a pro with ease. And it's just a great highway cruiser. It's just, I give it 2 thumbs up. So I'm gonna wrap this video up with a couple final comments on the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. I wanna say that this package, the L package, is exactly what I want in a little bit larger of an SUV than like a normal 5-passenger. And the Summit Reserve has a lot of stuff in it, which you don't necessarily need. But this whole package is a great look for Jeep. And then you have the engine under the hood, which is, I mean, I would love a V8 again. I would love a Hemi V8 in this. But this 3.5 is pretty strong, and as I'm getting on the highway right now, so you guys can hear it wind out a little bit, it's pretty good. And once you're on the highway, it's a great cruising car. It's a great cruising vehicle. It's a great highway road trip vehicle. I mean, you know what you're gonna get, and it's not, you know, it's not bouncy. Listen to that thing. Oh yeah. Yep. It's got a great sound to it. Great sound to it. And you're at highway speeds. I mean, that's just the way that is. once you're at highway speeds, you have the cruise control stuff, you have the autonomous driving, you have all those different features that allow you to drive it a little bit safer, and you know, it takes a little bit of stress off you on a long road trip. But for around town, in and out of town, down to Pittsburgh and back, it's a great vehicle. It doesn't get the greatest gas mileage, but it's definitely one of the better cruising vehicles that I've had in a while. It has that weight to it, it has that mass to it that just makes you feel comfortable. You can kind of push it around corners. It's not going to get blown around in the wind, all that good stuff. And with that being said, that's Car Dad Bill for this week. Thanks for watching. Real cars for real people, for real life. I appreciate everybody watching. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends to subscribe. Like the videos. Add some comments if you want. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks.